All right, well, it's finally here, Oshkosh Eve. I'm getting everything ready to go to Oshkosh, taking the Queen Air to Oshkosh, and I've just got a few things left to do, mostly on converting it to the flying RV, like you might have seen my video from a few weeks ago. And what I'm doing today is the final touches on it to try to make it comfortable to sleep in, because this time of year in Oshkosh, it's supposed to be in the mid 80s, could get up into the high 80s, which is pretty uncomfortable during the day in the plane, but my biggest concern is at night. I need to be able to sleep, and unlike my trailer, Queen Air doesn't have an air conditioner. So, one of the things that I've done, like I showed you in the other video, is I made a couple of screens for the 2 pilot windows that open up, but that isn't probably going to give it enough ventilation at night. So I need to be able to sleep with the main air stair door open. And there's 2 things about that that are going to be challenging. Number 1, keeping the mosquitoes out. Even though there's lots of bodies to suck on at Oshkosh, there's going to be camping in the midst of 1,000 airplanes and 1,000 pilots in tents. There still seems to be plenty of mosquitoes to go around, so I need to be able to keep the mosquitoes out at night. So I'm going to be working on a screen today, somehow to figure out a way to screen the door. And I also need to make it so that if we have a light rain at night, I can still leave the door open, because a little bit of a light rain is going to make things a little more humid, which again is going to make things uncomfortable. So I don't want to have to close the door just because of a little bit of light rain. So what I did is I've got some screen for the door, plus I bought a tarp and some adjustable poles so I can put an awning. I'm going to attach an awning to the Queen Air and try to make it so if there's a light rain, I don't have to close the door. Not necessarily worried about water getting into the plane, a little bit, yeah, but I also don't want the air stair door to get soaked if it rains. So if I can have an awning attached to the side of the plane where the air stair door is and cover that door while I'm sleeping and while it's raining, maybe I can leave the door open, and with the 2 pilot windows open and the door open, I think it should be relatively comfortable. Problem is, there's no place to attach an awning to the top of the plane above the air stair door. It's understandably aerodynamic, which means smooth, which means not a lot of extra tie-down points on the top of a plane, because an airplane's not a SUV. You don't normally put canoes and stuff on the top of it, so not a lot of places to tie an awning down, but I've got some ideas. So I got these new suction cups here to attach to the top of the plane, because all I have on the top of the Queen Air to try and attach this awning is the rain gutter here. And I tried a couple things. I got some angle iron, I got some molding, car molding that would fit on there, but nothing was really secure enough to attach an awning, especially any kind of breeze was going to come right off. So I found these cool suction cups on Amazon, and we're going to see how well they do. Not really confident. We'll see, because I've got a lot of wax on the plane because I like my plane shiny. And there's a little bit of a curve, but they've got a little sticky bit on them, and they're supposed to be really good. So that seems to, oh, came right out. Let's try that again. I like this little cap that stays on. I might have to take that off. That's not too bad. I don't know if those are in the exact places I want them, but we'll start the experimental process. because science. Get any dust off this thing. I'd hate to have to de-wax a spot, but that might be the thing. Well, reasonably secure. I'm not going to be able to leave the awning up in the wind because if it gets windy at all, I don't want to run the risk of anything coming loose and banging up against the side of the airplane and possibly damaging the paint, which would be bad. We got this new tarp that's supposed to be the latest and greatest. Now the reason I want to put a tarp up is so I can leave the door open at night. And I don't, in case it rains. I mean, if it's a clear night, I don't need it, but if it's raining, even though I can leave the side windows open with the custom screens I made for it, I don't think that'll be enough. I think it'll still be pretty hot and stuffy inside the airplane. So I'd love to leave the door open with a screen. You got to be able to keep the mosquitoes out. But if it starts raining, I don't want the stairs to get wet. I probably wouldn't wreck them, but I don't like the inside of the airplane getting wet, the part that's not supposed to get wet. So if I had an awning out, just to kind of cover this area, that would keep the steps from getting wet, and, you know. And I'm talking a nice, gentle rain at night with no wind. You know, nice, peaceful, good sleeping rain. Not a storm. Boy, this, it looks kind of big on first glance, but we'll see what way might work best. We'll try the little things first. Looks kind of big. All right, well, so far it's staying. I've given the suction cups a couple minutes to take a set maybe, and they haven't fallen down yet. And now that I have it up, it actually might work. I mean, if it would also make a nice sun shield. You know, if in the afternoon after I'm done selling books in the building, you know, I can come out and kind of relax under the awning. Might be a little windy for that. I don't know. I bet this thing catches a lot of wind, but we'll just continue to experiment. I got some of these cool expanding poles. We'll see how well they stay on the hangar floor. They do have rubber bottoms. It'll be a lot easier in the grass at Oshkosh. All right, well, this is coming along really nice. At first I thought the awning was way too big, and it still might be too big. I mean, there's a lot of fabric here. If there's any wind, this thing's not going to stay on very long. But if it's not, this is going to work out perfect. And having it this big, I could put a table and chairs out here. I can put my grill out here. This will be pretty nice. If it looks like it's going to be a little bit windy, I can convert back to the smaller one. So I'm very happy. Excellent. Step 2 now, I got to put the screen on the door because it doesn't do me any good to have the door open if the plane is filled with mosquitoes at night. If you've ever slept in a tent with that one mosquito that's bugging you all night, you know what I mean? And I don't want to have 100, so let's see if we can get the screen on. So what I have here is some car molding that's for car doors so you don't ding your car. This is a piece of angle iron I was originally going to use to sit in the rain gutter, but that's a little too much. But I'm just trapping the netting, the mosquito netting, under this and then pressing this down into the rain gutter, and the screen hangs beneath it. That works just peachy dandy. Now let's see if I can get it to sort of seal. Two problems I have: the cable that holds the door up and the piston actuator that slows it down. So I'll have to cut it somehow. I don't think I could. Well, actually, yeah, that's going to be, there's going to be a challenge. I'll have to tuck this in here somehow. That keeps the majority of the mosquitoes out. Some of the mosquitoes out. It's going to take a little figuring to get the mosquito netting to sit just right. But I can do it. Well, this has come together really nice. We've got the awning pretty much set up. I might run a separate line from this tie down to that little vent on the engine cowling, and possibly another line from that tie down point around the tail. I'm going to make sure I can do it without damaging anything. And the screen worked really good. I've got that piece of molding up there that holds the screen in really well. Then I'm going to wrap it around down here. It's probably going to be a little bit of a duct tape every evening to seal off every last little crack, but I think that should keep the majority of the mosquitoes out. We'll see. I might have some, still might have some frustrating nights at Oshkosh, but a little bit of trial and error here and there will probably take care of it. And the last thing I'm going to need to do is cut some black stick-on or static cling window tint onto the windows there. When I first got the plane, it had them on there, but it made it too dark in the plane when we were flying, and it was really dark at night. But I think while I'm at Oshkosh, I'm going to have them on there so the plane doesn't get so hot during the day. I do have a sunscreen for the windshield, but having those windows covered or pretty much blacked out during the day will keep the plane cooler. Plus a little bit of privacy if I'm walking around in the plane, and I don't need a ton of people seeing what I'm doing, because who knows what I'm going to be doing. Nothing. I'm an old guy. And that's pretty much it. This is the finished product of the RV. This will be my Oshkosh home for the week, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna miss my camper, I'm not gonna lie. Air conditioning, a refrigerator, all the amenities of a trailer are pretty nice, but gotta take the Queen Air to Oshkosh. Just has to be done. It's been a couple of years, so cool. I love it. All right, I'll cut that window tint and we'll see how that turns out. Okay, that turned out pretty good. The static cling really cuts down the amount of light that's allowed into the cabin. That'll keep things cooler and give me a little bit of privacy. All right, I don't really have much left to do to the Queen Air to get it ready for Oshkosh. It's only a couple days away. Probably going to leave this Saturday to hopefully get a decent parking spot. I'll be in the vintage airplane camping area. Every other time I've brought the Queen Air to Oshkosh, they've given me a really sweet spot because it's a unique aircraft. And in 2011, I won Best Multi-Engine Classic Beach, something like that. Let's see what it says here. Outstanding Beach Multi-Engine. So that was pretty cool. I am gonna put it up for judging again this year. We'll see if I can win the award for this very small niche. Whatever you want to call it, category. And cool, hope I get another plaque on the wall. Anyway, that's all I've got for now. Continuing to pack and get ready for Oshkosh. And hope to see you all there. Stop by and say hi. Also, like I mentioned, I'm going to be in Building C selling copies of Ferry Pilot and Dangerous Flights. And meeting a lot of friends that I haven't seen in a long time, so it's going to be a good air venture. All right, well, until I see you next time, or hopefully at Air Venture, thanks for supporting the channel again, and as always, don't forget to keep your speed up.